friends. Let me go over here and take care of that, I guess. Hello, my friends. It's Melanie Albert here. We're going to start in another minute or so. I am so glad you guys are here. You're here about 2 minutes early for the Skip the Meal Dinner Party Challenge, and we are just getting set. I love seeing some of my friends here. There's Sally from Canada who needs to get her passport so she can travel to the United States of America. Michael, thank you for being here. It was great having dinner with your family last night. Like, here we were doing our tech set, getting ready here, and your family was eating dinner while we were doing that. And Adrian, my friend from New York, my yoga buddy, oh my goodness, so great to see you. Bez, I can't see you, you're black, but I know you're working behind the scenes. And Tracy, I don't see you yet. I don't know how to get you on the screen. Maybe somebody can show me who you are. Welcome. I don't think your computer's on yet. Oh my goodness, I am so excited. Let's see, we have another minute. So why don't you drop in the chat where you're from and why you're here. I might ask that question again, but where are you from and why are you here? Why plant-based? Why making beautiful food? Why farmers market? That's kind of what we're talking about here. So why are you here? And I can't read the chat, so maybe somebody can read it for me. Adrian, I see your mouth, but I don't hear you.
Oh, because, all right. So I'm in Southwest Florida and I'm 90% vegan and I'm looking for new recipes. Hey, Madeline.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. There are a lot of people that are looking for new recipes. I went through and I looked at what people wrote when they came into the Facebook group. A lot of people are going, I want new ideas. I want new recipes. So that's awesome. You came to the right place. Anybody else have any comments?
Well, I have one is that I'm moving really towards whole foods 100% for health issues, but also because they're delicious.
There you go. Whole foods. And it's so interesting. When I first started into this business, I was all about whole foods. And then over time, I graduated or moved. That's a funny word to use. I moved to plant-based, but I was all about whole foods and then went to plant-based over time. Yeah, we still have another minute. So somebody else have anything to say? And then I'll get officially started. I saw something else pop up, but I couldn't read it.
Regina from Saskatchewan. Not totally a plant-based eater, but I love to entertain. Oh, and always looking for new and innovative ways to entertain.
Oh my gosh, I think that's Dr. Sally. From Canada. Sally, I can't wait to see, and this is for you and everybody, what you're going to learn here, and y'all are going to entertain. That's the purpose. So we are like right at a minute after the hour. I'm going to get officially started. We're going to be here for an hour. So here we are at the Skip the Meal Dinner Party Challenge. Skip the meal. Think about it. We're going to skip the meal. And what does Tracy have to say?
So, hey, Tracy from San Diego. She's saying that she's going to stay on just audio 100%. She's plant-based and she gets bored.
Ooh, I get that. Getting into the rut. We go to the farmer's market. We buy the same old things over and over again. And then we get in the rut. And then we go, oh my goodness, I want something new. So you all are in the right place at the right time. So skip the meal dinner party. This is about creating an appetizer only dinner party that is going to be so incredibly beautiful and delicious and eye-catching that you're going to wow your friends when they see your dinner party. That's my goal. Your dinner party might be for your friends, it might be for your family, but it's a party that you're going to celebrate and make really beautiful food. So that's what the goal of this challenge is. We're going to be here for 3 days. Welcome everybody. 3 days, an hour a day. I could go on and on and on forever and ever. My passion is about plants. My passion is about farmers market. My passion is about cooking. My passion is about, oh, Sally, thank you, is about creating beautiful food. I could be here for days, but we're going to do an hour, an hour for the challenge a day, 3 days in a row. And something that came up this week, a question that came to me via email, they said, well, do we need to be there every day? Well, yes, come every day. Somebody thought I was going to be cooking the same thing every day. No, that's not the case. We're going to be making something different every day. So come 3 days. If you can't come live, watch the replay, I'll be sending out emails with the replays and you'll be able to do that. But come every day, you'll learn something new every day. The other question that came up that I didn't have in my initial communication was, when do we cook? When do we make the food art? When do we make this pretty stuff? I've been doing this work for years. I've been doing videos since as soon as COVID hit. My clients were asking me to shoot videos because I couldn't do their live events. And oftentimes what people do is they'll watch first. So they'll watch me do the demo first, and then they'll create, and then they'll come and post on Facebook and ask questions and that sort of stuff. If you really want to, oftentimes in programs that I do, when we're kind of more used to cooking and creating with each other, we'll actually all bring our stuff and all have our cameras on, and we'll everybody will be in their kitchens and we'll cook and food art together. But usually when people get started, they're going, I just want to watch and learn from Melanie, and then I'm going to go into it later on. So Sally, I know you mentioned to me that you were getting your shopping done. So put in the chat, and maybe either you or Adrienne can let me know, are you cooking along with me, or are you going to do it later? I'm just kind of curious what you decided to do there. It may have been easier just to talk.
I can talk if you allow me.
Yeah. What are you planning on doing, Sally?
Well, I originally, when you had your dates last week, I was going to watch the video, as you've said, and then cook afterwards. However, this weekend is Canadian Thanksgiving weekend. So I'm actually going to cook what you share with us for our dinner. So probably won't be posting until after the challenge is over.
Wow, I think my mom's Canadian, and I'm all about Canada. You sent my dad a flag. She sent my dad a Canadian flag. So that was just like the coolest thing. So thank you, Sally. And yeah, I think I need to celebrate Canadian Thanksgiving this time too, because I have lots of food in my house. So lots of food in my house getting ready for this challenge. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give you information today about the food. It's all about the essentials. So what kind of food should we eat? And then what are some of the essential things that you can do to make the food beautiful? So it's the food, it's always the culinary, but then it's the food art. But we're just going to be basic today, kind of setting a foundation. And what I thought I'd do just a little bit, see, some of you don't know me. Some of you know me from business, but you really don't know what I do with this side of my life. So I'm going to give you all a little bit of background. I really got interested in nutrition about 28 years ago. My mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. I was actually working in corporate marketing at the time, and I left my job and flew to Florida to be with my mom. The conventional doctors gave her 6 months to live. And I said, gosh, you guys, I'm feeling it right now. I said, there's no way. And she said, there's no way. I want to be around with my family and my children longer. So I left my corporate job. It was breast cancer, moved to Florida. I was actually working for Lee Jeans, and we created Lee National Denim Day because of my mom, which is really cool. And they've raised like $80-90 million for breast cancer research since then. So I moved to Florida, and I don't know totally why. I do know a little bit, but I was already eating organic 28 years ago. I just didn't want to eat bug spray. That's kind of what I thought it was. And I was already not eating meat. I used to run when I was in grad school, and I couldn't digest the meat, so I stopped eating the meat. So that was like a long time ago as well. And then I realized it was 20 years ago, when I lived in Santa Fe, New Mexico, I started going to farmers markets. So I've been doing this stuff a long time. But the real impetus was when my mom got the breast cancer. I'm just going, we are going to get as clean food as we can into your body. You're going to eat a lot of plants, and you're going to eat organic. And that's what we did. And yeah, she lasted a long time, like another 28 years, which is pretty incredible. So I got started with that. And then this is kind of a side thing, but I moved to Santa Fe, New Mexico. I just mentioned that, to practice yoga, Adrienne. I went to Santa Fe to practice yoga. And while I was there, I created the International Chamber for Health and Wellbeing. And then that led me to Dr. Andrew Weil. So some of you might know Dr. Weil, Andrew Weil. I worked with him in branding and marketing and licensing for 12 years, 9 or 12 years. Oh my gosh, I can't, 9 years. Ended in 2012. And it was so funny because when I pulled this book out this morning, this was like my first photo shoot with him for this healthy aging book. So that was pretty cool. But the great thing about it is that from Dr. Weil, I learned a lot about nutrition. So he's all about the anti-inflammatory way of eating. And I learned an awful lot about food. Even when I was at his place in Tucson doing video shoots and photo shoots, he and I would be the two in the kitchen, like looking at new food and tasting new chocolate and stuff like that. So Dr. Weil had a big influence on my life and my career and kind of what I do. The other thing is that I studied at a school in New York, the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. And crazily enough, I say, because there's so many health coaches and coaches around now, I went to that school in 2006 in New York, flying to New York for long weekends, and I became one of their coaches. But at that point, one of the teachers that I met, and Bez and I were talking about him this week, was Dan Buettner, who created the Blue Zones. So he got a grant from National Geographic, traveled around the world and learned what, do I say what old people eat? The people that live the longest, healthiest lives, what they eat and how they do. I don't know where that came from. I've never said it that way. But yeah, he researched it and he's pretty incredible. So my influences come from Dr. Andrew Weil, the Blue Zones, and integrative nutrition. And then I came to Arizona, worked for Dr. Weil, and I love football. Like you guys, I'm telling you, I haven't told these stories in a long time. I love football, and the Super Bowl was coming to town. So I decided I had to do some work with the Super Bowl. Guys, I have to show you at some point. 2008 created a matcha tea kit with the Super Bowl logo. Nobody in the, yeah, thanks, Sally. Not many people were drinking matcha tea back then, but a matcha tea kit in 2008 with the Super Bowl logo. But more importantly than that, and that was a lot of fun, my friends and I started doing catering at the Super Bowls over the years. And we catered the VIP tailgate party in Tampa in 2009. And we were all staying at the same hotel as these old football players. They were called the Gridiron Greats. They're still called the Gridiron Greats. They're retired players. And we'd all go to our nonprofit events. And we'd come back in the evening and stay up until like 2, 3 in the morning. I'm getting emotional about this one too, because I haven't shared this in a while. And the guys were telling us about their stories. It's in the news now, but back then it wasn't, that they were getting obese after they played football. They weren't working out as much. They were getting the diabetes. They were getting the heart disease. And my friends and I decided we had to help them. It's like, we're going to help you guys. So we committed to help them. I live in Phoenix. There are a lot of football players in Phoenix, a lot of former football players. And we just started teaching them how to cook. But here was the crazy thing. I didn't know an awful lot about cooking back then. But I knew the food. And it's like, okay, if I know I need to teach the guys, for instance, how to cook grains, I'm going to learn how to cook grains. And I learned how to cook them, and then I taught them. And then maybe the next week I had to teach them how to cook greens. I learned how to cook greens, and then I taught them. And that's kind of how I started in the culinary. But then sorry, I thought somebody was in the waiting room. I think Laura's in the waiting room. That's so funny. I caught my eye there. So I started teaching them how to cook, but then I wanted to learn more. And at this point, I have 610 hours of professional plant-based culinary training. So it definitely got a little bit better, a lot better over the years. And again, I live in Phoenix. There's a school here called the Southwest Institute of Healing Arts. The first time I went into their kitchen, I had this vision. I said it to myself, I want to teach in this kitchen. So then, of course, I was asked to teach in that kitchen. And I think I taught cooking there, whole foods cooking. They called it soul food, seasonal, organic, unprocessed, and local. They called it soul food, and it was definitely whole food, Sally. So I ended up teaching there, I don't know, I think 4 or 6 years, taught online and on campus. And it got to the point where people saw what I was doing. I became pretty well known in Phoenix, not to brag by any means, but I was doing farm to table. I literally was going to the farmers markets and cooking. So the farmers markets started asking me to teach, where they go, Melanie, come, we called it shop the market. Come and shop the market, do your little demo, create a recipe. And the farms were asking me. So I was holding events at farms. Literally, guys, this was so cool. Meeting with the farmers like a couple of weeks ahead of time before an event, and knowing what they were planting and what was going to be growing 3 or 4 weeks out from my event. and we did beautiful events. So that's kind of where I am. The beauty of food. Somebody asked me this in an interview one time. The beauty of food really came to me, like really making presentation beautiful, when I realized the farmers were creating such beautiful food, and oftentimes we don't respect it. Like we come home and we rush and it just doesn't look pretty. And I'm going, I need to respect that beautiful food. And I was also studying a little bit with a gentleman named Matthew Kenny, who is incredible. Used to go to his restaurant in New York, Pure Food and Wine, every time I was there. And he just made beautiful food. And then I learned how to make food just like him. So yeah, that's kind of where I am. So my passion now, I'm kind of getting a little excited to share. My passion now is taking what I've learned all these years about the food and the culinary and the beauty of the food to you. Oh my gosh, Adrienne, thank you for that heart. I just see a big heart. Well, thank you. That's so sweet. I'm blushing. Yeah, I love this so much. And I honestly decided to dedicate the rest of my life to teaching people what I know so that you can also enjoy food as much as I do. Like literally, it's all I do. I live it, I talk it, I eat it, I create it, I take pictures of it, and I share it. And I know from teaching all these years, like thousands and thousands of people, hundreds of classes, mainly in Arizona, but Super Bowls too, and some online. I know that you can do it too. I know that the things that I figured out are simple culinary techniques, actually really great food, and simple ways to make the food pretty. And I know that you'll do it. I know, like in my heart, I want to pass my passion. I know that the first time you do it, it's going to be just as beautiful. I mean, I've taught some classes. I'm kind of getting aside here, but in the past, and the people were, this is like a 6-week program that we had one time. It was a winter program, and people were posting, and I literally couldn't tell the difference between their food art and my food art. And I was getting goosebumps of going, this is awesome. So that's kind of it. So I would just love, anybody want to share if you have anything right now, an aha or anything that touched you, and then we're going to move into the food. Or post in the chat what, if you had an aha, I'd love to hear that too. Adrienne, go for it.
I think I may have said this. I know I put it in the chat, but it's so surprising to me is that I actually thought whole food was plant-based. I didn't realize that people use that term whole food meaning something other than that. So it's just because right, it's not. So whole food can be something that is like a chicken leg.
Yeah, or like in my book over here, A New View of Healthy Eating, the tagline is simple, intuitive cooking with real whole foods. And that was written in 2016. And that was back when I ate salmon. So that's the other thing. When I realized I was plant-based, or I positioned my company as plant-based a few years ago, not because of a trend, but it was because of what I was doing. And I had salmon in that book because I loved salmon, and I had a great salmon supplier. My brothers go fishing for salmon. And I also had goat cheese. And those were like the last 2 things I had to get rid of. But salmon would be a whole food. Interesting, right? And I'm going to tell you another little aside, because I was thinking about this morning, and this kind of gets into the philosophies, but I'll jump ahead a bit. So organic is one of my big philosophies as well. Eating organic, eating plant-based, eating farmers market, eating what's local. And I was taking one of my NFL friends. I mean, he's in my marketing. I don't know who's big on football, but he played for the Seattle Seahawks most of his life. And as a quarterback, he was quarterback for 19 years, which is kind of crazy. Side story, when I lived in Kansas City, he was Joe Montana's backup quarterback. So I used to watch him play football in Kansas City. And then we became friends in Phoenix, and then he helped me out for Super Bowl. I taught him how to cook. But we went through Whole Foods. This is why you got me going, Adrienne, on the grocery store Whole Foods. We were going through Whole Foods one day, and we were walking up and down the aisles, and he goes, Melanie, you were so quick. Like, you were so quick at shopping and showing me what to eat and not to eat. And I said, well, if it's not organic, we don't buy it. Right? We start in the Whole Foods. I think I'm going to get into this now. But anybody else have a comment before I get into the food part of it? All right.
I just
Yes.
have one
Yeah.
one too. I really appreciate your desire to sort of honor the beauty of food. And I think the first time I sort of explored that was when I grew it myself. And suddenly it was way more beautiful, even if it was distorted and deformed, because it actually grew and I actually made it happen with my own hands. And it was like nourishment. Like it felt like more nourishment. There was something about it that was just fully there. And anyway, if you could address like deformed stuff as well as
I
just
have some deformed
think of
stuff that is from a local farmer. So yeah, I like that. I will. You know what? We'll just do that right now. So Michael, I got goosebumps when you're saying that about growing your own. We always had a garden when I was a kid, and it was always so much carrots. I was always carrots. We always had carrots and asparagus and rhubarb. I mean, tomatoes. We had strawberries, but just going out in the dirt and like picking it up and just kind of wiping it off and eating it. But then, like you said, seeing it and not worrying about how pretty or ugly it is. Hang on, I'm going to get this for you. I think I have it right here. Yeah. So we're going to use these for the avocado tartare. I don't know if y'all can see that with the camera.
I wonder if you have that other camera, right? You could, oh, let's see.
There. Yeah. So this
Oh, there it is.
is like part of the thing about shopping and growing and going to the farmer's market is picking out food that's not quite so beautiful because it's so unique. Right? So there we go. There's that.
Beautiful.
I'll put it here so I don't forget it, I hope. So back to the food and the food philosophies. Like we're saying right now, eating what you grow, eating what the local farmers grow. I mean, think about it also. The food's not traveling thousands of miles or from other parts of the world. It's harvested and then we eat it, whether you grow it or even from the farms and the farmers markets. They're harvesting sometimes that morning. I knew a guy that would be like running in late to the farmer's market. He's going, I just harvested this great cabbage. I needed to get it. I saw it growing and I wanted to bring it so somebody could enjoy it. But it's so fresh and it has more nutrition. So eating local farmers, eating organic. Of course, I'm all about plant-based. I mean, y'all know that now. I mean, some of you already knew it, but I'm all about plant-based. And I just think it's awesome. So the food, what I've come up with are categories of food, 6 categories of food to make it easy. So a lot of people, my company is Experience Nutrition. I created this company about 12 years ago because I thought everything had to be experiential. It's not memorizing, oh, I have to eat this. Oh, I have to eat that. Oh, I have to eat that. I can't think that way. Like I'm creative. I can't think that way. It looks like somebody else is joining us. Yay, yay. So I came up with like 6 categories of food. Like when we were, many of us were kids, we had the 4 basic food groups here in the US. Well, I came up with 6 categories to make it easy. So Bez, if you want to only do the camera, the iPhone camera, the food art camera, I'll show this one first. We have the food. Oh, there you go. Let's see. There we go. How's that, Michael? So the first category of food is veggies. So just remember that the first category of food is veggies. And I'm just going to leave it at that right now. The next category of food is fruit. Oh my gosh, it sounds like 4th grade, doesn't it? Veggies, fruit. I didn't realize that until right now. Veggies, fruit. The next category, whole grains. We have brown rice and quinoa. And then we have beans. We have some kind of brown beans and some kind of, oh my goodness, I just lost what these were, but I know what they are. Lentils. So whole grains would be number 4. Number 5 is lentils. Next category, nuts and seeds. Nuts and seeds for the next category. So hang on, let me do that again because I am teaching it so you remember it. You may not even have to write it down. We have veggies, fruit, whole grains, beans, nuts and seeds, And the sixth one are Melanie's superfoods of choice. I love dark chocolate and I love matcha tea and I love goji berries. Let's see. So you can make up your own superfoods, but you're probably going to have some. So just remember that. But now what I thought I'd do is kind of talk you through how to shop and kind of go a little bit more in depth in this food. So when I shop, I first go to the farmer's market and oh, thanks. Thanks, Bez. There's a note up there. So the first thing I do with the shopping, and this will kind of get to this as well, is I go to the farmer's market. And this is like a really cool tip that chefs do. There are two tips I think I'll give you. The first one is get there early. So get there right when like some of our farmers markets, they ring a bell. Get to the farmer's market early so that you can see the food before anybody else can see the food. And what I like to do is walk around the farmer's market and just see what farmers are selling. Like I just got back into Arizona after 11 months of being away, and I've gone to, I think, 4 farmers markets so far, maybe 5. And literally I just walked and I went, okay, what farmers are selling what at the farmers markets? Who of the farmers have different specialty things going on? And then it's after that I shop. And what I personally like to do is shop a little bit at each farmer to kind of spread the wealth. They work so hard. I want to like give a little bit, I like the beauty from different farmers. So I do that. So from the farmers market last weekend and the last couple weekends, squash are in season right now. Either way, squash are in season right now. So I've been buying a lot of squash and I like to do that. The other thing in terms of food, it's always really nice to have some greens in your kitchen, whether they're kale or collard greens, and also root vegetables. So I love beets. So we have some beets, or carrots would be another root vegetable. So what I like to do with the veggies is always have roots, always have greens, and then have whatever else is in season. So that's kind of the veggie part. Fruit, whatever fruit you want. Berries are always great. I didn't bring any berries out. They come from the grocery store right now. We don't have any growing right here. But these are apples and little pears that are growing from the Arizona farmers right now in northern part of Arizona. So I picked those up at the farmer's market. So we have the veggies and the fruit, whatever kind of fruit you want, and then back to the whole grains. What I like to do, can we spotlight up here? There we go. Thank you. So what I like to do with the whole grains is always have a few in my kitchen. So today here in Arizona, I actually happen to have brown rice and quinoa. So that's what I have to show you guys. And I store them in jars, like in glass jars to keep them fresh. And then beans, just have a couple of different beans. These are some kind of local brown beans. Like I said, I can't even remember exactly what they were. They were here when I got back, but always beans. So we have our good carbs, like everybody talks about the carbs. These are good low glycemic carbs. And then we get a lot of protein from the beans. So that's what we're doing there. And then nuts and seeds. I think nuts and seeds are pretty straightforward. Always a variety of nuts. So today I happen to have cashews. These are raw cashews. I probably shouldn't tell you, but I'm always honest. These come from Brazil and I actually buy them online and they are absolutely delicious. So I got hooked on them when I was in Florida and I just actually brought a bag with me here. And almonds, whatever kind of nuts and seeds, cashews, pumpkin seeds, walnuts, pecans, and hemp seeds. So I always have hemp seeds and chia seeds around. And then of course, like I said before, we don't have to belabor this, is our chocolate. Okay, so I would love to see if anybody has an action, like an action that you want to take from seeing the food. Yes, chocolate, I can read that one. Go, Sally, go. Anybody have an action, something that you might want to do different from, and while you're thinking, let me finish up about this. So I shopped the farmer's market and I did that this weekend, this week getting ready for this challenge. I literally shopped a market on Saturday and Wednesday. And this is another tip, when you're hosting your dinner party or even cooking this way for yourself, go to the market a couple of weeks before so that like Sally, if your Thanksgiving wasn't this weekend, a couple of weekends prior, if you have a farmer's market, I don't know if you do right now at this time of year, but go a couple of weekends before so that you have an idea on what's going to be in season when it's time to prep. Hope that makes sense. Yeah, so I go to the farmer's market and then I fill in the gaps. And that's what I was going to mention over here is that I did buy the squash and the beets at 2 different farmers markets, but I actually filled in the gap with the greens from the grocery store. And that's okay too. But I always go to the farmers markets first and do that. The other thing about the farms and the farmers markets is that you can go to, or we can go to farms and farmers markets. So I love going to the farmers markets. I can see a lot of different farmers and see what's going on. But the other thing that at least we have in Phoenix, we can visit farms. So I live in an area in South Phoenix where I could walk to 2 organic farms from my house right now. And then about 4 or 5 miles that way west, there's the Arizona Worm Farm and the Pinnacle Farm. Another friend of mine has a farm there. So you could also visit the farms. And what people do at the farms, or what the farmers do often, they're doing a lot more of this. They have a refrigerator that's an honor system, and you could go and just pick what you want and then put your money in their little thing. Or like sometimes I'll leave 20 bucks and I'll say, oh, I only spent 10, I'll be back next time, or something like that. But get to know your farms too. Go to the farmers market, but visiting the farms is great. Another thing about farms and farmers markets, I don't know if you guys have heard about CSAs. I think some of you probably have. Community supported agriculture, where you literally give the farmer like $25, $30, or $35 a week ahead of time for maybe 4 or 6 weeks. It gives them money up front. And then whatever they have growing that week, you get. And I've been so fortunate. Like I've gotten CSAs forever, but the one farm over here, it's called the Farm at South Mountain. It's been there quite a while. And they do this, they were doing CSAs. I did 66 recipes for them. So what I would do is go over to the farm on Friday night when they're packaging the CSAs that people would pick up on Saturday, and get Melanie's bag. Like it always, here's Melanie's bag, or here's Melanie's box of food. I would literally come back here right where I am, create a recipe for them, and then email the recipe over. And then the people had it on Saturday morning. So CSAs are another great way. So yeah, I'm going to stop rambling. I rambled a lot, but any ahas or any actions that you might want to take. And I know not everybody's in weather where you have farmers markets right now. That's okay. Take the learning now and use it later. But yeah, any ahas or anything that you might do differently? Well, I'll go on. Is that Sally? I thought I saw Sally undo. Are people chatting? Adrian, I can't hear you.
So some of the aha that Madeline said was that she, I guess, is picking up that she'll season her grains, or wondering how to season grains. I'm not sure which one. It says seasoning my grains, which I would really like and appreciate as well. And yeah, and oh, that's great. And Sally said about storing our grains in the glass jars, and then having the rice and the beans be decor for our kitchens.
Wow, that is so cool. You could do that for Thanksgiving time. This is the fall, and they're pretty, like, they aren't like, quote, the most sexy food, but they're pretty. So the rice and beans, I'll just give you an idea on the seasoning, the whole grain. I was doing this a lot when I was in Florida, because I eat whole grains a lot, like I cook 2 batches a week usually, and I eat it all. And a really easy way is to add some stock to it. So like a veggie stock, you can make your own stock, or even buy one of those. I hate to say it, but if you don't have your stock in your freezer, buy some stock and it will give you flavor. The other thing that you could do really easy is add some turmeric, especially to quinoa. Add turmeric and a little bit of black pepper. It is amazing. And it just makes it not so boring. So those are a couple of easy ways to do it. Beans, I don't know if I know how to make them extra tasty. I think it's more what we do with them and all the other little add-ons. But like you just said, I mean, making rice and beans, I mean, oh my gosh, the Blue Zones, the Nicoya Peninsula, where I was down in Costa Rica, it was rice and beans every day. And then you cook some veggies and there's a meal. That's a really basic, great meal. That's all you have to do. All you have to do. Listen to me. You have to know how to do it, but that's all you have to do. Okay, any other comments? And we are going to move in. I'll tell you what, why don't you guys comment a moment in the chat, and I'm going to move this food out of the way unless we have any questions or any comments about what I have here, and I'm going to bring over the avocado stuff. Anything else on this? Okay, I can hear you when I move away, by the way. So I'm just going to move this out of the way and I will get the avocado things ready. Hang on. I don't want to spill anything. So here's the thing. I'll just tell you guys, I know not everybody knows this story and I can't believe I'm telling it, but I guess I have to now that I started. I had been out of my house for 10 months. And when I came back to Phoenix, the kitchen was flooding. Like the water was coming out from underneath my kitchen sink and 29,000 gallons came out. So I used to have a counter here where I could put stuff and I don't have that anymore. So now I used to be able to like pull things right here. I don't have that. So I have to move it over here. So that's why I'm going off screen for a second. I don't know. I've kind of learned in this entrepreneur life, we just share what's real, right? Like, look at sorry. The plumbing. You guys have motivated me. I think I might have to cook with these props, right? All right, avocado tartare coming to life. So I'm quite known for avocado tartare. and it started with, and I'll get back to the chat in a second. It started with teaching kids how to make guacamole, I guess you'd call it. And what we did, there was a class I had, not a class, it was an event that I did with a bunch of kids with some football players. And we had 150 kids, 50 kids at a time making guacamole. And what they did is they squeezed all the avocados into big bowls. And then they took their hands and they mushed it up. And that was their avocado guacamole. And that's kind of how it all got started. And then I started thinking, you know what? There has to be a little bit more to it. It can be more tasty. It can be more beautiful. So any comments before I move to the avocado? Any comments, Adrian?
Yes, thank you. Sally is saying how many of the whole foods are also considered brain food. And now, how about that's food for thought?
Yeah. You know what, Sally, thank you for saying that. I know that you're working on longevity and brain health and aging gracefully and aging beautifully. I mean, like Dr. Well's book, it was healthy aging. It wasn't anti-aging. I mean, I'm getting kind of like on a side conversation here, but yeah, the brain food and what we can eat for our brains, especially the good fats. And I'll tell you, just not eating processed foods is good for like the whole food. Like I really like to talk to people about adding in, like, let's add in the whole foods. I don't say, don't do this, don't do this. Even when I work with the football players, they kept going, you know, they're all big and they call me Mel and they go, Mel, are you going to tell me I have to stop eating meat? Are you going to tell me I have to stop doing this? And I would say, no, I'm going to teach you how to do it my way. They appreciated me. I'm going to teach you how to do it my way. And gradually you're going to crowd out that other stuff, but I'm not going to tell you what to do. And they did. But yeah, the brain health. Yeah, back to my friend Dave Craig, the football player. I met him at an NFL event the day after he came back from his brain scan from Dr. Amons for concussions. And I said to him, like, guys, listen to your intuition. Because I was really, I really wanted to help these guys, these football guys, because they were in such pain and they really, the concussions and everything. And I said, Dave, I want to help you. And the very next day I was at his house. That was when I ate salmon. I have pictures of it, teaching him how to cook salmon and drink matcha tea the very next day. It's like, I want to help you. Okay. So here we go with the avocado. I don't know if you guys got your recipes. Anybody get your recipes yet or print them out? Oh, Sally's a good student. I know Sally's a good student. If you don't, that's okay. Anybody else have it? But I'll go over it. So yeah, print out your recipes. They're going to be really handy. So I just want to use the guide and show you the food just to make sure you don't miss anything. So we always start with avocados, of course, avocado tartare. And I mentioned this on one of my lives earlier this week. What I like to do is buy avocados when they're green, and then I keep them on the counter until they get ripe. I buy a lot of, even when I was down in Florida, we were going through 8 avocados a week, but I buy them when they're green. They gradually get ripe. When they get, these are all getting a little soft, but when they get a little soft to the touch and they got kind of brown, almost black, you can put them in the refrigerator and they stop that ripening process. And that's why very often, if I time it right, like I posted a picture the other day, I literally cut into an avocado. I was not planning on taking a picture of it. I was literally getting ready to eat it. And it was so beautiful. I had to take a picture of it. But if you time it right, you can do that. So we always start with avocados. And then I like to call it aromatics. So green onions, garlic, leeks, any kind of onions. Like it could be a red onion, it could be a white onion, but anything that's going to be aromatic to add some flavor to your avocado tartare. Carrots. So carrots are not in season in Arizona right now after a hot summer. They're more of a fall crop. So these are grocery store carrots. So I got some purple ones and yellow, and I guess I must have eaten, there was another orangey kind of color. I guess I ate that already. And then I have on your list peppers. So I showed you these peppers. These all came from the farmer's market. So these all came from the farmer's market. My friend Mark.
So we've lost sound, Melanie.
We lost sound. Oh no.
Okay, no, you're back.
I'm back. Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear? Yes.
Yes. Yes.
It might be a different microphone, or it says my internet connection is unstable. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
We can hear you. You're
Loud
fine.
and clear.
Okay, yay. Yeah, so Mark grows peppers and all kinds of things all year round. And I asked them when I bought these the other day, I said, are they hot? And he said, I can guarantee you they're not hot, and they're not hot. But if you like hot, buy hot. And these came from some other farmer. So peppers are always really good with this dish. Tomatoes. So back to the philosophy of shopping, I actually bought these tomatoes at a farmer's market. And then I actually went to Whole Foods. I go to Whole Foods and Natural Grocers, I'll be honest with you, and Sprouts out here. And these little tomatoes were just so pretty, I had to have some. So it was like shop at the farmer's market and then the tomatoes. We do not grow avocados here in Arizona, so they all pretty much come from Mexico or Peru. I can tell you that. They're not growing here. Let's see. And then we have cucumber. I said a small cucumber. This is my friend Mark's big cucumber. All the different farmers have their own way of growing. Mark seems to let things grow and then he picks it. A lot of his food is really large, but that's okay. It's a cucumber. And lemon. I don't have any local Arizona lemons. I know they're coming into season, but I don't have these. So these, I have to just be honest, they are definitely grocery store, but they're organic. And the reason I like to roll them on the board or in my hands. And when we do that, the membranes in there are going to get soft and then it'll be a little bit more juicy. So that's kind of what I'm doing there. And we have a little bit of sea salt, some kind of sea salt. What I like to do is buy the chunks of the sea salt or the Celtic salt, and then I use the mortar and pestle. Part of the mindfulness. So for me, using the mortar and pestle is part of the mindfulness. And then we have herbs. We didn't mention this earlier, but I always love to have herbs in my kitchen and my garden if I'm in a place where I have a garden. So any kind of herbs will do. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Any kind of herbs will do. They're really great for the food art part of it. Okay, so I need to get moving. We have about 17 more minutes. Wow, guys, I just got a whiff of the mint and the basil here just by touching it. So when you're doing this kind of work or this, this kind of cooking, enjoy the aromatherapy, enjoy the process. So the first thing that we're going to do is choose a few veggies that we want, because we're not going to use, we have them here, but which ones are we going to use? We're going to use cucumber. I forgot to mention this. we have watermelon radish. So we're going to use cucumber, watermelon radish, a couple of onions, purple carrot, beautiful pepper. There's the orange carrot. Let's see what else. Maybe that's it for now. Oh, I can't decide. Isn't that funny? I'm like playing with this and I can't decide. All right. And we'll have some tomatoes. And that's it. So the first thing that I like to do is choose my food. We always have a sharp knife. I kind of mentioned that in the tools, always a sharp knife, always a cutting board. And I'll just tell you guys, I have a damp paper towel under the cutting board so it doesn't move. You don't want your cutting board to move around. So an easy thing is to put a damp paper towel underneath. And I'm looking for another tray. We're going to use this. We're going to use this tray. Hang on. Might need another tray here. I like to be very organized. So while I'm chopping, part of this process is really being very mindful and being very in the moment. And we have to be really careful, especially when we have knives in our hand. Normally, I wouldn't cut the skin off, but there are a lot of blemishes there, so I'm doing that. That's all. Yeah. So being very mindful, keeping your space clean when we're cooking. And what I like to do is get everything ready, all of the vegetables ready before, there's the microphone cord, before I start prepping it. So we're going to have all of our veggies cut. I mentioned a nice sharp knife. I actually made sure I sharpened my knife this morning. You can also notice that I keep the veggies flat so they're not rolling around as best as I can. Can you guys see this okay? Yeah?
Yes, it's just wonderful.
Oh, Adrienne, you are the sweetest person on the world. So you have to watch this, guys. Look at the beauty. If you've never had a watermelon radish, can you see that? Beautiful, right? And what I'm going to do for that, we're going to save some of the radish. Like, look at these cute little pieces. Some of that we'll save for the food art part of it, and some of it's going to go into the avocado tartare. So I'm just going to make some little pieces for the avocado tartare part. That's good. Yeah. Onion. This might be cute for the food art to make it beautiful, so I'm saving that. A little bit onion. I always have an extra bowl to throw the compost stuff in. Oh my gosh, guys, it's smelling so good. Oddly enough, just the onion is giving a really nice aromatherapy. So again, back to mise en place. I didn't really talk about that much. I just kind of mentioned it. So mise en place is a French term that means everything in its place. So everything in its place when we're cooking. So you can be more mindful. Oop. Oh my goodness.
So, Melanie?
The aromatherapy of the onions. Wow. What was that?
Melanie?
Yeah.
Madeline would like to know, she's saying, oh, you don't peel the scallion?
Oh, good question.
With a little question mark. So a question.
Oh, when I buy organic, I wash everything. So a couple of hours ago, before we started here, I made sure everything was clean. And then I don't peel anything. Because it's okay. There's actually a lot of nutrition in the skin. You know, I would probably save this carrot top if it looked a little bit better, but it really doesn't look that good. So I may just save that just in case, but we're not going to save that. Oops. But that's a great question. You know, I see people all the time cutting off the skins of sweet potatoes. And do you realize how much they waste? Look. Oh. I'm laughing because I get so in the moment. Sometimes I I'm into myself doing this and I forget that people are there and I go, oh, it's so beautiful. That's
Melanie,
just
what's the French word for everything in its place?
mise en place.
Mise en place. Okay.
Mise en place. Yeah, it's beautiful. And again, we were talking about the not so beautiful food that you grow. That's why I choose them. So when you are going farmers market shopping or in your grocery store, find the ones that are unique, right? They're going to add to the beauty of your dish. Yeah. Yeah, mise en place, everything into place. And it's such an important concept. And like right now, sometimes I wish I had another camera. I'd take a picture right now. But everything in its place, like when you're setting up with all of your tools, like I have a lot of tools here. We haven't used a lot of them yet. And I don't even know if we will right now. But having all the tools in place is part of the mise en place. Having your food, like I chose my food ahead of time, that's part of the mise en place. And then there's going to be plating mise en place as well. Does that make sense?
It does, Melanie.
What was that? We need to wipe off the knife between things. Between things that might matter. So we'll move the knife. So I love to use zest. So if you have a microplane grater, that's great. If you don't worry about it. I'm going to do it this way. I think you can see better. So there are different ways of zesting. I pretty much hold the citrus in my hand and then I move the microplane. I feel like that's easier for me. And there we have the zest. The zest is another thing, like the mindfulness of cooking. Oh my goodness, y'all. I can't wait for you to do it. And you have to let me know. Right now, you know how there are oils in lemon and skins of citrus? I just got the whiff of it. It took that long, but I just got the whiff of it. So pay attention, go slow. So there's that. And then we're going to squeeze some lemon, but for some reason, my reamer isn't here right now. So rather than wasting time looking for it, I will get a fork and hopefully it won't squirt too much. These lemons, these non-local lemons have not been very juicy, but you get enough. You don't need a ton of lemons. So with the avocado tartare that we're making, and this is like a classic lesson that I teach a lot. When we make a salad dressing, it's always acid, fat, and salt. Acid, fat, and salt. So in this case, the acid is the lemon, the fat will be the avocado, and then we'll be adding salt. So basically, we're making a salad dressing for the veggies. Oh my gosh, guys, this smells so good. Seriously, I love doing these online things, but I love doing it in person too. So, but yeah, there's that. Clean the hand and a little strainer. I do have my little strainer. There were a lot of seeds here. So we're going to strain out the lemon juice. And I'm trying to decide. This is like mindfulness, really. That doesn't look very pretty there. We're going to get rid of that over here. We don't want to be untidy. I think I'm just going to cut some of these cute little tomatoes to put in there rather than the big ones because I don't think I need that many. Again, when you're shopping, just look for unique shapes. I didn't really say this, but unique shapes and sizes, unique colors. I could say it like that. Yeah, another. Wow. Yeah, I get kind of quiet when I do this part, especially when I have a knife in my hand, right? Okay, now here we go. The test of the avocado. Soft and brown. And we are going to cut into here. Notice my fingers are around the outside of the avocado, or on the side, and I cut around it. I've heard that more people, here's the test. Ah. Oh, you never know, guys. Like I do my best to make sure the avocados are like a really good ripeness when I do anything. But even like you go here and you go, oh my gosh, it's so like it is so beautiful. So let's kind of review what we have. Oh, and I'll show you. Even though I have salt in there, I have a mortar and pestle. And we're just going to grind up the salt with the mortar and pestle. That's that. Okay, now, just so we know what we have again, we have our avocado, we have our lemon juice and our lemon zest, we have all of our vegetables chopped, and that's it, right? So we are going to make the avocado tartare. We have 5 minutes left, guys. I'll be quick, but not too quick. I want to be mindful. So if we have to go a couple of minutes late, I said I was going to be exactly on time. I don't think it's going to work exactly, but we'll be close to it. So let me show you one more thing. I almost forgot. So take the seed out. To take the seed out, you don't want your hand near the knife. So what I do is I put my hand behind my back and I go like that. And there it is. Did you see that? I can't really do it again. I can show you another time. We use a lot of avocados. Okay, we're going to squeeze the avocado into the bowl. Maybe if we just get the overhead shot now. Oh my goodness, guys, this is a nice avocado. Can you see how soft that is? I don't know if you can or not. Watch. Trying to get my fingers out of the way. Oh, yum. I'm going to have a good lunch, and then you guys will be doing it later. So what I want you to start thinking about, I know we haven't seen where we're going totally yet. We're going to put the lemon zest in. I'll just use all of it. Lemon juice, all of it, because I know it'll be good. I do intuitive cooking. So even though there's like some measurement, there's not really measurement. But usually with the salad dressing, you have your acid and then you have twice as much of the fat. So we have our avocado in here. Oh my goodness, the lemon juice, the lemon zest, and the sea salt. That was one big avocado, wasn't it? There was a lot of avocado here. Mash that up. Imagine doing this with the children and they're doing this with their hands. No, that's a little better, right? It's a fun thing. A lot of my friends still have little kids, and I'm anxious to do that with them. So I'm going to put in some of the ingredients. We're just going to leave these big. Not that one. Carrots, saving some pretty stuff. Onions. Oh, the aromatherapy again of the onions. The watermelon radish. So beautiful. This is looking like a restaurant salad, isn't it? It's looking pretty good. And we're just going to mix them up. I probably could have cut the peppers a little bit smaller, but it'll be okay. And that's it. So there's our avocado tartare. And rather than using it from the big bowl, when we do our plating, we'll put it in a little bowl. Wow, the colors. So I love the idea. I'm just seeing this now. Like a lot of people talk about that rainbow. There's a rainbow of veggies here. All right, that's enough. Avocado tartare, here we go. So part of what I wanted you guys to learn today with the food art and the plating is thinking about different bowls. So even if it's not with the avocado tartare, if it's whatever you plan on cooking tonight or tomorrow that's veggie, take a look at different plates and bowls that you have in your house and then just decide what you want to use. Okay, because it's going to look different. So I know a few days ago I made one and I used this green bowl, So I decided I'm not going to use the green bowl today, even though I love it. My friend made it. He actually used to do pottery at one of our farmers markets, and I was teaching classes, and I borrowed it for one of my classes, and then I bought it from him. So that was pretty cool. So everybody doing okay? Yes? All right. So this is going to be part of the mindfulness. Let me make sure you can see that whole plate. That way. That way. All right. So I'm looking at my herbs over here. I'm going to bring them over so y'all can see them. I'm afraid to put it on that counter. Hang on. We don't want a mess. Okay, so there's some herbs. And oftentimes what I like to do, and this, I wasn't planning on doing this for today because it's something I teach usually later on, but I'm just feeling it, is putting some herbs down on the plate before we start. So there's some beautiful mint on the plate. And then I have my ring mold. This is 2 inches tall and 3 inches across, I believe. It's 2 by 3. Yeah, 2 inches tall, 3 inches across. I have a saran wrap way of doing it. In the interest of time, I'll come back and do a little live on that and show you all the saran wrap if you don't have one of these. But we can put the ring mold onto the plate. Grab a spoon. We have our avocado tartare. Oh my goodness, y'all. The aromatherapy between the mint and the onion and the beauty of food. And when you're doing this with yourself or your family, your friends, this is very mindful too. So what I like to do is press the tartare way down and kind of pack it in so that when we lift off the mold, it's not going to move around. It'll just kind of be there pretty steady. I made so much, I can do a lot. I might just, like I said, when we're done, I'll go and do another video or a live with the other method because we have plenty here. I'm being like the kid. My fingers are getting messy. Hang on, let me wipe that off. Oh. So what I want you to think about while I'm doing this is, when are you going to have your party? When are you going to have your appetizer party? Start working on your date. So, oh my goodness, there's a little bit of the tail right here. A little bit of the radish. So I love doing fun. Like, I just love making my dishes fun. Sometimes elegant, but mine are usually more fun and playful, joyful. So we put radishes in, put a few carrots sticking up. So notice like I said earlier, I saved a few of the ingredients so that we can use them here. Ooh, look at this. Can you see that? That's going to go there. All right, put some onions on. So this is an interesting thing, and that just happened, so it reminded me with creating beautiful food, is that let it flow. So don't worry if something falls. It's just food. It's not that big a deal. Do we have a little bit of everything? I think so. Lift it up. Add some more. Add some more mint. Oop. That was a little long. See how quiet it gets for me? There's some mint. And there's your avocado tartare. Oh, Sally, you are so cute. There it is, guys. Oh, I don't know which way to go. Oh, that's the wrong camera. Yeah. Yeah, so I'll take some pictures. If we want to come back to the full screen, that would be great. And I'll see if we can see it. So you can see how it has some height. Oh, thanks, Adrienne. Thumbs up. So yeah, so with the avocado tartare, a couple of lessons here for food art, making the food beautiful. So obviously, starting with the beautiful veggies, being very mindful of the mise en place when you're chopping and when you're creating it. I didn't say this before, but unique shapes and sizes, unique colors. And then for this one, it's height. So when we're plating, we can bring the veggies and the fruit up, or we can go horizontal on a plate. For this one, it works really well to go height. The other thing that we've used here are fresh herbs. And I think that's it. And the other thing I mentioned, playing with plates. So this would look very, very different on the green bowl. So we're 4 minutes after the hour. That's not too bad. So what I'd love to do is just hear, oh, you guys are sending me the hearts. I really appreciate that. I would just love to hear from you. What did you learn today? And when is your date for your appetizer party? This is the first thing that you can create. Like, really, look how easy that was. So open up the mics, take turn. What did you learn? What was valuable? And when's your party? Adrian, I can't hear you.
Oh, I didn't say, I was just laughing with joy.
You're just laughing.
I
And you're
was-
going, Melanie's making, come on, guys. This is a challenge. In a challenge, we must take action. We must move forward. We're not just here to learn, right? You guys know that. I'm being Pedro. We must take action. Micro win. What's your action? What's your action and what did you learn?
You do sound like Pedro. That was so simple. That was so simple. I love avocado. I love watermelon radishes. They're hard to find down here.
Any kind of radish will do. I mean, my friend Mark the other day had golden radishes that were really incredible. I've seen purple daikon radishes lately. One of my farmer friends just put on Facebook today, his red radishes are like going to be at the market this weekend. Any kind of radish will do.
Okay.
They're really beautiful when you cut into them.
I like the daikon one. That's a really good idea with the purple. Yeah, so I'm having friends over for dinner in 3 weeks, so I will be making some.
Wow, that is awesome. I love that. So we'll be doing 2 more recipes tomorrow and the next day, and then who knows, I'll probably be sharing more. So yeah, and it's so easy. You can practice it, but you could see how, and you could even, God, you've got my brain going. Think about your plates. Are you going to use different plates for different people? How are you going to do it? Just think about it all.
I am, and I definitely will practice because I want it to look nice. Thank you so much, Melanie.
Oh, you are so welcome. And like I said, I'll come back later today and do it with the saran wrap. If you don't have a ring mold, you can do it with saran wrap and it works. Not quite as great, but it works. It'll work. This is easier.
I could do that in a ramekin, right?
Yeah, you could. Put saran wrap in it, and put the avocado tartare kind of like I patted it down, and then just put your plate on the bottom and then turn the plate over, if that makes sense.
Okay, it does. All right. Thanks for the tip.
So for those of you, if you didn't understand it, you'll make your avocado tart, you'll put your avocado into a little bowl with the saran wrap, and then you'll put your plate on top, and then you'll flip it over. So you'll put your avocado tart, you'll put your saran wrap in the avocado in here, put the avocado tartare there, put your plate on, flip it over, lift it up, and you'll have it. That's what we do with dehydrating. And I'm going, yeah, of course it will work like this too. Yes, anybody else? Commit.
Okay, I have my friend coming to visit October 20th, and I'm going to do a non-cooking dinner for her.
Wow. Adrian, that was Adrian, right?
Yes.
That is so awesome. I can't wait to see your pictures. You're going to have fun. And it looks so pretty. Share in the Facebook group too. Anybody else? Sally's doing hers this weekend for Thanksgiving in Canada.
We've got friends coming over for a kid's birthday party this weekend, but the whole family will be there. So I think we will have an adult special little thing for us while the kids have their thing. So
that is so awesome.
It'll make it
more
more
have so
fun.
much fun doing this. I've taught this to kids for decades. My niece is 18. She actually started when she was 3.
So we just have to figure out
It's
how
my
to
first cooking video when
sanitize
she was 3.
everybody's hand. Just have to sanitize everybody's hands somehow before
You
they.
you have gloves. We make them
Yeah.
wash their hands. I have gloves. They wear gloves. Yeah. So guys, thank you. If I know most of you are in the Facebook group, thanks, Sally. Go in the Facebook group, post what you've learned. When you practice, post, ask me any questions. We're going to be back tomorrow and we're going to make hummus and a beautiful hummus bowl. And the other thing I want to let you know, please go to your handouts because I have reflection sheets for you. So it's kind of like, where are you with food? How are you on shopping? How do you rate yourself? What would you do differently? Those kinds of things. What is your goal? And then I gave you another sheet where you can start tracking what you're doing for your party. So when is your party? Where is it? Who will you invite? What are you going to make? And it kind of goes on and on. So I gave you some sheets to track because sometimes we just write things in notebooks and then we forget. So I have pretty sheets for you to track. So that's it for today. Honestly, I am so happy. I am so honored. Thank you for giving me the extra 10 minutes. And I will be back here tomorrow. I'll go in the Facebook group. I'll take some photos, go in the Facebook group, ask any questions. And hummus is tomorrow and culinary. Thanks, everybody. You all are awesome. Bye. I'm going to say goodbye with the food. There you go. I feel like we need music.
Dun 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 dun.
There you go, Bez.
Dun,
All
dun,
right.
dun, dun,
Maybe we
dun.
stop the recording.
Yes, we will.